Hello, Frontline Teach. This is Val Soul, and I am here to talk to you about nutrition and HIV. Obviously, nutrition is important for everybody, not just folks living with HIV, but folks living with HIV have particular nutritional requirements, and they might have different goals within that, but we know that nutrition is super important, and so we're going to spend some time talking about it. First, here's a fact. If you live 65 years or longer, you will have consumed 70,000 meals and disposed of 50 tons of food. And sometimes, personally, I get freaked out when I think about all of the food that I have to procure for myself for the rest of my life, as if it were all in a warehouse. And so imagining 50 tons worth of food in a warehouse is a little intimidating, but we do it one meal at a time, and everybody does it, and it's just part of being human. So we want to help support people in making choices that work for them. And you would think that the only foods that are enjoyable are the unhealthy ones, and obviously they're very enjoyable. But we know that enjoyment can come from healthy choices. Fresh fruits, a variety of colors in vegetables, the sort of more colors you eat, the broader spectrum of nutrients you're going to get. Whole grains rather than processed grains, lean protein, and we'll talk about all of these in a little more detail. So eating healthy foods is important for everybody. It supports, the stuff that is our bodies, muscles, bones, skin, and blood. Gives us the energy to do the stuff in our life that we need to, and can help prevent or delay chronic diseases. But specifically for folks living with HIV, nutrition is important because the immune system actually requires a number of nutrients to stay healthy. Diet can significantly impact the side effects of meds and the symptoms of OIs. Nausea is a really common side effect of a lot of meds. And so loss of appetite can also be a side effect, and someone's more likely to eat food that they enjoy rather than that they don't enjoy. So if someone has a low appetite or has nausea, we want to help them enjoy things that are going to give their body what it needs while they're in low food situations. So not everybody has the same nutritional goals. Some folks are trying to lose weight, some need to gain weight, some could go back and forth in the space of a year or less. So the nutritional goal that you might have will depend on your body, if you're positive, its reaction to the virus, your regular eating habits, your exercise habits, the availability of nutritional food, the family history, and sort of what you inherit from your ancestors. And everybody should have a discussion with their doctor about nutrition. And anyone living with HIV should definitely talk to a nutritionist about the specific nutritional needs. And if you don't know, or if you know for sure that your doctor doesn't have connections with nutritionists, contact me and I'll see what I can find for you wherever you are. Okay, so calories are often seen as the enemy, right? But actually calories are required for everything we do. We consume those calories from the foods that we eat, and that gives us the energy we need to function. So low calorie might not actually be better depending on what your goals are. And the number one place where calories come from is carbohydrates. So here's a picture of some wheat here that just came in. That's a really common example of carbohydrates. This is actually an ideal nutrient to meet your body's energy needs. There are a couple of different kinds of carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates come from grains and cereals and starchy vegetables. Simple carbohydrates are just plain up sugars. They're really easy for your body to digest, and that's why you get a quick burst of energy. But then they don't last very long, and that's why you get a crash. And so those are often from fruit juices and processed foods. Carbohydrates also have fiber, particularly the complex carbohydrates, and that's really good for your digestive system overall. So there are some examples of high fiber foods. Everybody needs protein, and protein helps the body do a lot of different things, and is a stored form of energy. People living with HIV and AIDS need a higher intake of protein in their diet. And so here are some different sources of protein. There are animal proteins: fish, chicken, turkey, red meat, eggs, cheese, milk products. But there's also vegetable proteins. We haven't forgotten you vegetarians. Beans, peas and lentils, tofu, tempeh, miso, seitan, soy milk and rice milk, nuts and nut butter, seeds and seed butter. All of those are sources of protein. Here are a few tips for increasing protein in your diet. Add beans to soups and salads. Spread nut butters on bread, toast, and crackers. Add grated cheese and diced meats to your meals. Add canned tuna to salad and casseroles. Eat desserts and salad made with eggs. Those are all ways to increase the amount of protein that you have. Fats is actually an entire category of food that we need. Here's a picture of some fats. Not all fats are bad, and something that's low fat might actually be an unhealthy choice for you, depending on what your goal is. And if the goal that you have is to eat well-rounded, then actually you need fat in your diet. So eating fat is different from the fat that's stored in our bodies. That's energy from the excess food that we eat, and that is from all food groups, can be turned into fat. So there are different kinds of fat that we can eat. Saturated fats, those are the ones that are solid at room temperature, so butter, fried food, dairy products, red meat, pork, lamb, shortening. There are unsaturated fats, which are liquid at room temperature, and that comes from vegetable oils, avocado, nuts and seeds. And we all need fat. The goal is not to eliminate fat entirely. You'll see in this little plate here, lots of fruits and vegetables, about a third of intake is protein, and then fat in the middle is crucial. So watching portions is important. Everything comes bigger today. The actual what they say as a serving of meat or fish is about the size of a deck of cards. A serving of cereal is 1 cup of cereal. A serving of rice is 1 cup cooked, not uncooked. The food labels often have calories by serving size, not by the entire bag, and that the entire bag might contain multiple servings. And so you look at the food label and you say, oh, it's only 180 calories in here, but actually there are 4 or 5 different chunks of 180 calories in there. So that can be tricky. We recommend not to supersize, and also if you've ever seen the movie Super Size Me, then you'll be very grossed out by it. Water is important, and a tip for those who are trying to watch their weight and not gain weight is to focus on the enjoyment and focus on the meal so that you realize how much you're eating and not just sort of wolfing it down. I have a hard time with that. So tips for a healthy diet: 5 to 6 servings of fruit or vegetables, or approximately 3 cups. Half carbohydrates come from whole grains rather than processed grains. Choose lean meats and low-fat dairy products unless your goal is to gain weight. Limit soda and sugar-filled drinks. The problem with soda and sugar-filled drinks is that they're all calories and they don't actually give you anything in return. So here are some resources for learning more. MyPyramid.gov actually lets you, it's kind of a cool tool, and you can punch in what it is that you eat in a day, and they will tell you how many calories that is. And they have, it used to be that there was just one food pyramid, and now they have about a dozen to reflect all these different goals and needs. So That's it for this time. I'll see you later.